I've been keeping this for a long time. Longer than I should have, probably. But I couldn't let it go. Not until I had answers. I still remember exactly what you looked like. Every detail. 4 years and it never faded. Not even a little. There you are, Bud Budged. I finally put a face to everything. I've been carrying around right where you belong. Every piece of evidence. It's all on this wall. Every question I never got to ask. Every single thing I found over 4 years, pinned right here. 4 years of wondering. 4 years of not knowing. All of it, one wall. And it all started here. It was one of those days. So I built a world, named it after myself. I got in, placed a door, and just stood there, staring at an empty world, no plan. No idea what I even wanted to build. I was just there, existing. And then someone walked in, a stranger. His name was Bud Budged. He started calling out to me, waving, trying to get my attention. But then he said something that actually made me stop. He said he wanted to help me build this world. And I thought, wait, maybe he actually has an idea, because I definitely didn't. So I walked over, and something about the way he said it made me think, okay, fine, let's see where this goes. So I pulled him closer and we started talking. We made small talk. The usual stuff. I kept it casual. But honestly, I was still watching him. Still trying to figure out if this guy was actually worth. He always convincing me with his words. And look at his reaction. Go ahead, look at it. Yeah, keep that in mind. Then he suggested we come up with a gang name, just for the two of us. And then he asked me the question. And that was it. That was the moment you won, Bud Bud. You had my trust. And now you had my world. After everything we talked about that night, I finally realized how late it had gotten. So I told him, let's continue building tomorrow. And I logged off, left him there, alone, in my world. I didn't think twice about it. I just went to sleep. And by the next morning, I came back wanting to play and collect materials to build my world, thinking about what weather machine I would use until the moment I entered my world again. I logged back into my world, and what greeted me was something I didn't expect. The moment I stepped in was no longer the same. Bud Bud had been busy, all night long, alone, for the both of us. He took me on a tour, his tour, and he guided every single step of it. A small storage, a little farm, and then a house. He said, this is where we can both chill. And before I could even process that, he handed me something else, a heart monitor. So we can see when each other is online, he said. Then came the suggestion I didn't see coming. He wanted to rename my world. Not just my name and our names together. He even handed me a change of address to do it. Honestly, I was still stunned by everything he built overnight. So I thought, why not? And just like that, Wolver's world became Bud Wolf's world. The last stop of the tour was the one that actually made sense to me. A wishlist board. He told me to write down every item I ever dreamed of having in this game. So it's there, so I never forget. I'll be honest, I wrote half of it just to fill the board up. Random stuff. But then he said, let's swap and read each other's wish lists. Sure, I was curious. So I walked over to his side and looked at what he wrote. One item. Just one item. A blue gem lock. That's it? That's your wish list? Out of everything in this game, and that's what you want? Meanwhile, over on my board, he moved straight from the wish list to the storage box. And then he said, Let's save up together until both our wish lists are complete. And before I could even respond, he dropped his DL. Just like that. We had barely known each other, and he just trusted me. I sat there staring at the screen. And then he typed, "You know what? If he was brave enough to trust me, then I could do the same." So I dropped mine too. And that was the beginning. Day after day. Grind after grind. Slowly but surely the number kept climbing. We showed up every single day. Some days were slow. Some days felt like nothing was moving. But we kept going anyway, because that's what you do when someone is counting on you. He reached 50 DL before me, and there I was, still sitting at 45. It took a while, longer than I expected, but I kept going, because he did his part, and I wasn't about to fall behind. And finally that day came. I had done it. But today, Bud wasn't online. I wanted to celebrate with him. He deserved to see this moment. So while waiting, I wandered over to the bulletin board he built, curious if anyone had left a comment. Nothing. The donation box? Just junk he tossed in himself. I'll wait for him tomorrow. Together, we had hit 1 BGL. I logged back in, hoping he'd be there, ready to celebrate. But when I opened the storage, it was empty. Everything. Gone. I typed, "Maybe it's a prank." Has to be a prank. I checked his heart monitor. He was still showing online. I tried to message him, but the message never went through. He had blocked me. And then it hit me. I walked back to the wishlist board. When I checked his bulletin board, it was completely blank. Wasn't his wishlist blue gem lock before? This the moment I realized I had been deceived by his act all along. And after everything that happened, I walked away for 4 years. And that was the story of what happened 4 years ago. But there's something I still need to do. I need to find Bud. I have 3 ways to find him in this game. First, searching his name as a world. Simple. Every player does it. Type the name, find the person. So I typed it in. Wait, whose world is this? Okay, maybe with a GT at the end. Empty. How is this possible? Maybe with some numbers. Nothing. Maybe world added to it. Nothing. Nobody builds a world under their own name anymore. Second, a megaphone. Broadcast to every single player. Someone out there has to know Bud. And right, somehow everything got this expensive. I don't even have DL anymore. Okay, alternative plan. I'll just ask players directly. The first guy I approached just walked away. Second, third, fourth, nobody knew. Never even heard the name. And the 5th one, I don't even want to talk about it. All right, neither of those worked. Time for the last option. I'll go back to our old world. Maybe he left something behind. A clue, anything. I stepped back in and it was on fire. Completely abandoned. Ghosts everywhere. 4 years of nothing, and this place looks like it gave up on itself. I could barely move, barely search. Maybe there really is nothing left here. Maybe this whole investigation was pointless. I held my head trying to think, and then I looked at the screen again. There was a door I never opened. The one leading to the heart monitor. Wait, the name changed. The heart monitor that used to say Bud. So this whole time, you've been changing your name, Bud? Back to the first trick. Search the new name as a world. And bingo. And the weather here. Why does this feel so familiar? I've seen this before. There you are, Irosovlo. There was a password door. It's impossible for me to know this password. There are too many word combinations that could be this password. But it's okay, I'll keep trying. Maybe his favorite item, blue gem lock. Also no. Wait, don't tell me. It opened. Inside, a pyramid, and in the center, a guest book. What trick are you pulling this time, Bud? And it was an apology. I stood there, shocked, hurt. Was I so quick to walk away that I never noticed he could have come back? I was left speechless, but there was a message, one I had to carry out first. The last message in the guest book pointed me to a donation box, but to open it, I needed to activate 7 obelisks. The 7th one was placed near the guest book itself. I had to carry it, and place it at the only spot I could actually access. Portal to the world he spoke of finally opened, and here I am, back in the world where it all started. This was the world he meant all along. Before the donation box, I noticed the bulletin board, so I walked over, and I read it. All of it. He had been sending me signals this whole time, under a new name. Yaroslavlo was never a stranger. It was always him. He filled this board, update after update, moments where we could have rebuilt everything, and I missed every single one of them. I stepped toward the donation box, opened it, and I froze. These items... Wait, I remembered. Without ever being able to see that board again, he remembered all of it. Every single item. Each one had a message attached. Personal, thoughtful, like he wrote each one carefully. And at the very last item, my 50 DL, returned with one message. Please come back. All this time I thought I was the one chasing a mystery, but the truth was never complicated. It was never hidden. I just never looked back long enough to see it. Bud was never the villain of this story. He made a mistake. And then he spent 4 years trying to make it right. I should have given him that second chance back then. I turned to the detective board. All those clues. All those accusations. I took them down. And in the middle of it all, I placed one last thing. Bud Wolves forever. Maybe it's not too late to fix this. Maybe it never was. Yaroslavlo read it backwards. And it says, sorry, Wolves, a sorry you never saw coming. And maybe someday we'll cross paths again, Bud.